iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Show. FullTimeFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Full-Time Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto, get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. All right, let's take a look at last night's travesty, if you're a Browns fan, and delight if you're a 49ers fan. I say this a bunch of times. If these two teams played 100 times, do you think the Browns would have won more than 2? Browns are terrible. Terrible. Baker Mayfield, 8 for 22 and 100 yards, 2 picks. I mean, that is just unforgivable. Seriously, it's unforgivable. And maybe forgive is the wrong word. It's unacceptable. That's the right word. It's unacceptable. I mean, you are a starting quarterback in the NFL, and Gardner Minshew is throwing for 374 yards, and you can't. You're the number 1 pick in the draft. Now, I know the 49ers played good defense. I get that. But you got to do better. I mean, Nick Chubb ran for 87 yards, which was good, considering that the 49ers run defense is excellent. But Beckham, 2 for 27. Baker Mayfield overthrew him early in the game by like 5 feet. I mean, all you got to do is get the ball near Beckham and he catches everything. So come on. I mean, this is shameful. San Francisco, absolutely a wonderful job. Jimmy Garoppolo, 20 for 29, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was good. Matt Breida was sensational. Oh, man. And Tevin Coleman. Breida, 114 yards and a touchdown. Coleman, 97 yards and a touchdown. I'm not a Coleman fan, but he played well. Got to be honest there. George Kittle finally showed something, 6 for 70 and a touchdown. But then again, you have the usual San Francisco box score. Goodwin, Breida, Bourne, Pettis, Samuel. Nobody does a lot there. That's the problem. But I got to tell you this. What a well-coached team. Kyle Shanahan calls a great game. I wasn't a fan of his dad, but I'm a fan of him. I am. I think he's a pretty darn good coach. I do. All right, so some bad news here. Jalen Samuels out at least a month. Following, we have some knee issues here. So Benny Snell moves up to number 2. I don't know, man. Jalen Samuels out for a month. The Steelers are snake bit this year. So I'm trying to think. So we're week 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I keep Samuels, but I don't know. It's going to be close. Sam Darnold was cleared. He's starting against the Cowboys. Thankfully, seriously, so good to see that. I mean, the Jets are just an embarrassment this year. I mean, I hate Adam Gase, but I feel badly because the Jets haven't had their guys in. Now Darnold's there, now Chris Herndon's there, Jamison Crowder, Robbie Anderson, Le'Veon Bell. At least they have a shot, a fighting chance. Cam Newton looks like he's going to be back in a couple of weeks. I think Kyle Allen has one more start, and then he moves on. Okay? By the way, Ian Rappaport said Gronk is hired by an analyst for Fox. So I guess he's not coming back anytime soon. The Giants are in big trouble, by the way. The Giants. Evan Engram, out. Saquon Barkley, out. Wayne Gallman, out. Sterling Shepard, out. Oh my God. What a nightmare. Seriously, what a nightmare. If the Patriots lose this game, this will be the biggest shock in football history. Seriously, in football history. By the way, Kyle Juszczyk suffered an MCL injury. He was a pretty good player, by the way. He played pretty well last night. He did. I thought he had a good night because he set up a lot of blocks there. He's a good blocker. All right, let's take a look at waiver wires Tuesday. I like saying waiver wire Wednesday better, but what can I tell you? It's Tuesday. Quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew. I think you have to pick this dude up. He's legit. I mean, he doesn't protect the football very well, but he throws it well and he runs it well, and the Jaguars are a much better team than I thought they'd be. And even when they're losing, they still stay in the game. Leonard Fournette is good. DJ Chark is sensational. I mean, D.D. Westbrook is solid. I mean, I know they lost O'Shaughnessy for the year, but Jeff Swaim's fine. So I think Minshew's worth picking up. I mentioned Sam Darnold to everybody. I think Sam Darnold's absolutely a pickup. I think he may have been dropped in some leagues. Go get him right now. We know how good Sam Darnold can be. I don't like him this week, but you're not picking him up hopefully for this week. You're picking him up for the future. Devlin Hodges by the Steelers. Look, no Mason Rudolph, no Ben Roethlisberger. Somebody's got to do something in this game, and I think it's going to be him, right? I think it's going to be him. So I think Hodges is respectable. He's a solid player. I thought he looked good in what little I saw of him, right? I'm cautiously optimistic. That's the best I can give you. I'm cautiously optimistic. You know, the Steelers play the Chargers. It's going to be a tough game, but maybe he does something. How about Kirk Cousins? I got to think he's available in leagues. He's playing the Eagles. You can't run on the Eagles, but you can throw on them. You can throw on them. Will Kirk Cousins throw the ball again this week like he did last week? I pray that he will. Pray. Not sure it's possible, but I'm praying that he will. All right, at running back, I got a couple of guys for you. Firstly, Devin Singletary. If he's available in your league, I want you to go all in right now and get him. They have very easy matchups, the Bills, moving forward. They're off this week, I get that. But then coming back, they got Miami a couple times. They got an easy schedule. So I like Singletary. He could be a difference maker the last 5 weeks of the season. I like Chase Edmonds. David Johnson's not David Johnson, not the guy we knew a few years ago. Chase Edmonds has a little juice there, and I think he's got to play a little bit more over the coming weeks. Right? Take a look also. I'm going to give you a couple of stash guys. Firstly, Jordan Wilkins, and secondly, Reggie Bonifant. Okay? Firstly, with Jordan Wilkins, the Colts give the ball to Marlon Mack like 1,000 times, and the Panthers give the ball to McCaffrey 1,000,000 times. So I look at the backups, Wilkins for the Colts and Bonifant for the Panthers, and say, what if? What if there's an injury? Remember, we need to be fantasy vultures. Now, I wouldn't go pick Bonifant and Wilkins up and drop somebody good. I'm not dropping Devonta Freeman for them, but if I'm in a 20-man roster, I certainly would drop a pig for one of those guys. Okay, you know what I'm saying? All right, wide receivers. Anthony Miller showed up in the box scores last week. He did. He showed up in the box scores. So, you know what? I like him. He's got potential. Maybe the Bears start using him. They're on bye. You might get him at a discount this week. I like him. Auden Tate. The Bengals have nothing. Green is out. Ross is out. Tate is in. So if you need a guy and you're desperate, he probably was taken last week, but get him now if you can. I like Albert Wilson a little bit. Albert Wilson is going to be the slot receiver for the Dolphins, and he is respectable. He's not good, but Josh Rosen has to throw to somebody, and Devontae Parker's not very good, and Preston Williams has been good thus far, but Wilson's a pretty solid receiver, and I think he gets more targets. So if I'm absolutely desperate, I might look his way. Darius Slayton's a guy I might look at as well, too, for the Giants. Shepard could be out for 2-3 weeks. It's possible. So Slayton could fill in. He's big. He's fast. Not necessarily the greatest hands I've ever seen, but, we can work around that. And how about Zay Jones? I think the Raiders made a really good deal here, and I think the Bills did too. The Bills have been playing Duke Williams and Isaiah McKenzie, and they have guys, Robert Foster still on the team. They didn't need Zay Jones. They brought in Cole Beasley. They brought in John Brown. Those guys are better. Fact. But Zay Jones had value, and the Raiders gave up a 5th-round pick for him. So you know what? Good for the Raiders. Tyrell Williams is not 100%. And then you got a lot of guys like J.J. Nelson and Hunter Renfrow. Zay Jones is better than all those guys. So maybe Zay Jones is available in your league. Obviously, they're on bye this week, but you know what? Maybe there's a glimmer of possibility that he turns out to do something. All right, at tight end, I got a few guys for you. Chris Herndon, back from his suspension. Good rapport with Darnold. Adam Gase has said that he's not going to use him unless he's ready. But hello, the Jets have been ready for weeks. The Jets stink. They need somebody. I think he's somebody to look at for sure. Jeff Swain for the Jaguars. James O'Shaughnessy out for the year. Swain is not a bad receiver. Played for the Cowboys last year. And Minshew is throwing the ball to the tight ends. He's a possibility. And how about Darren Fells? I think Darren Fells is just a big target for the Texans. A huge target. So you're talking about a guy who's, 6'6", a real good red zone threat. You saw that Deshaun Watson went to him before, caught a ball over a guy's head, like he was eating a peanut off the guy's head. He took the ball from him. So look, I've talked about this the last few weeks. There's not a lot of great players available on the waiver wire. I'm just saying. Darren Fells, Swain, maybe Herndon. Herndon's a guy I like the most. Anthony Miller. I like these guys, but I ask myself, are any of them worth more than 10%? 10% would be a lot. Like if your budget was $1,000, I wouldn't pay $100 for any of those guys. The only guy this week that I'm paying for, I may pay for two. I will pay for Devin Singletary. I paid $200 for him. I would. If he was out there, which I don't think he would be, I'd pay full price for him. I'm a believer. I might pay for Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds might be worth right around 80 to 120. What if David Johnson's out? Seriously, what if the back is an issue? If it is, Chase Edmonds gets 20 touches per game, and you can't find that anywhere. So that to me is worth something. So when you are going to bid on somebody, so let's take a look at this. Darius Slayton versus Zay Jones. Actually, I'll do better than you. Auden Tate versus Zay Jones. A lot of people will bid a lot on Auden Tate. I won't. Because I know his life expectancy is short. A.J. Green comes back. Tyler Boyd's there. Auden Tate doesn't really see much playing time. But Zay Jones is interesting to me. Zay Jones may do nothing for 2 weeks. Nothing. But week 8 or 9, maybe 10, maybe he's playing in the Raiders offense. Maybe he's getting the second most snaps after Tyrell Williams. Maybe he's catching 5 passes a game. What if? So his life expectancy for me is much longer. And that's why he's a better value. So I want you guys to think about that when you're on the waiver wire. Don't worry about the immediacy. Worry about the length of time that this guy can help you. If you do that, it will make you a smarter fantasy football player. All right, but time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Remember, check out fulltimefantasy.com. Enter the promo code ROTO50 for 50% off your first 2 months. And remember, check out si.com/fantasy. And that's where you're going to see all our stuff pretty darn soon. This is Dr. Roto saying be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Full Time Fantasy. There's never been a better time to join and go full time. Visit fulltimefantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO50 for 50% off your first 2 months. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time.